Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Chanel. Thank you guys for being in my corner. Before I get started with today's video, please go ahead and subscribe right now because I know you're gonna love today's content. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and dive in today's topic. If you read the title, you know exactly what we're talking about. All right, so today's like a little sad little story, history, I guess, story time. I want to talk about how it was growing up without my father. A lot of people don't know, obviously, my biological father, he was let go. He passed away from a drug coma. When I was 16 years old, I had met him 2 times to 3 times prior. The first time, I believe, was when I was younger, and my mother let me stay the night with him. It was a really fun night. It was just me and him. He cooked. I don't remember what we had. We ate breakfast, and he had some Frosted Flakes, and I had some Captain Crunch, and he would eat his cereal and slurp. And I was like, why are you slurping? Like, why are you eating your cereal so loud? And he told me that when you slurp your cereal, it tastes better. And from that day on, I always slurped a little bit, even though my mom didn't like it. I slurped a little bit when I had my cereal because he told me it would taste better. That was also the day that I shaved my entire freaking body, which was the worst idea in my entire life because I still think it gives me problems today. But I was taking a bath, he ran my water, he asked me if I had everything that I needed, and then he left and let me handle my business. He left his razor. I'm assuming it was another woman's or it was for his face, but it was in the tub with me. What did I do? I was like, my mom doesn't let me shave at home. I'm gonna shave my entire body. So I literally shaved my arms and my legs and my booty, like the back of my legs, my armpits. I shaved everything. What I did not know is that the crap is gonna grow back. And it's gonna grow back full steam, like worse than it was before. So first it was a lot of hair and it was very fine. The second time around when I shaved it, it was hard, it was black, and it was a lot of stuff. Eventually that passed away because my mom was not gonna allow me to shave. I didn't shave again until I was 16 years old. I loved it. That was smooth and I shaved myself and I was happy with the results and I was just like, is this what it feels like? Is this why the ladies do it? I was very, very happy in that moment. But yes, that is a very distinct moment that I remember being with my dad. The second memory that I have is when he came to my speech. I used to be a 4-H kid. I grew up on the east side of Oklahoma, and then my mom went to Langston, so then I went to Langston and I went to Coyle High School. I lived in Langston and went to Coyle, and I was in the 4-H program. But I forgot what the H's were. Was it Heart, Health, Home, Help? Something like that. 4-H stood for something, and I was a part of that program because my grandmother did not want us getting in trouble. She did not want us running the streets like the rest of the kids, the baby kids, the ratchets out there, just getting in trouble, getting pregnant, doing drugs. So that is what she did for us. She enrolled us in 4-H, an after-school program. In that program, I was very mature for my age. I was very, I guess, always left in charge when the teacher wasn't there. You can't tell. I was that kid. I was the apple, the A student kid. Actually, I gave a speech in class, and it was really, really good. So she told me to write and talk about how I was feeling, what I liked about it, what we did this summer, what I've learned, how I've grown, and what do I want to do in the future. After giving that speech, I was approved for speaking at the Oklahoma State Capitol, not once, but twice. I spoke on the House floor and the Senate floor. I was so nervous. That was the first time that I recognized that my lip was like shaking when I speak. But I'm getting off the topic, guys. I'm getting off the topic. My biological father, I met him twice. He passed away when I was 16 years old. I remember that call distinctively. The moment that I realized that it was serious, that he was actually gonna be passing away, I got a call from my mother, who had got a call from my grandmother, my dad's mom, and they said he was in the hospital and he was now waking up. Mind you guys, I told you about the 2 experiences I had met him, and I was very, very young. There was no bond, there was no connection. I don't even think he knew my favorite color. Like, he wasn't there when I was born, I don't believe. Like, it's a very disconnection, and he was giving attempt and effort, but it wasn't enough to make up for the ground that he wasn't there. It was effort, but it wasn't enough effort considering it was like when I was 4 till I was 16. So drugs are hella addictive, as everybody knows. Sometimes it overrules the love and compassion that you have for your family, your kids, and your friends, and that's just what it is. That's a hard pill to swallow. And once I found out, at 16 years old, I went up to the hospital. I went with my mother and his mother, my grandmother, and I saw him. He was like in the hospital bed, wrapped up in tubes, like stuff down his mouth. His eyes were closed. I had tape over it. And he was kind of inclined up in bed. And seeing that, I was just like, he was literally just there. Like he wasn't living. I didn't know if he could hear me or not. But at the age of 16, I was just overwhelmed that this person who I'm supposed to be connected with, who I'm supposed to have a bond with, that I don't. And that I felt bad for not feeling bad, because it's literally an example of, for example, if my neighbor was in the hospital, like I have sympathy for you, but it's not as deep as crying. It's not as deep as losing sleep over it. It's not as deep as actually feeling like I've lost someone of value in my life. And that is how my dad felt. He felt like my next door neighbor, someone who I'm cordial with, someone who I do not know. And so that day, we were told that he will only survive with the machines attached to him. Like his body cannot function without external help. And given the circumstances, no one can pay for this. He doesn't have health insurance. My grandmother, his mom, was not in the capacity to visit him and cover those bills. And so the ultimate decision made, I believe that day or a couple of days after, was to pull the plug. And at 16 years old, I pulled the plug with my family. And again, there was no emotion. Like, there was no bond. I didn't feel bad because there was nothing to feel bad about. You growing up without something, when you get it, it's hard to understand having it when you haven't had it. And so living on, the funeral came, and of course I went to that. I was his only child, and everyone's just like hugging me and, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Just like a whole bunch of drama that I did not want to do.
And honestly, before the funeral, sorry if I'm being a little insensitive, but this is just my experience with my dad and our relationship. I don't feel sorry for explaining my story, but I felt annoyed that people didn't understand our connection because there wasn't one. I felt annoyed that I had to be here because I was his only child. I was annoyed of all the tears and crying and the trying to console me when I was completely fine. And I was just annoyed that it was that much of a disconnection that they had with him, that they thought we had a connection, because we didn't. It was just very weird. Oh my God, are you okay? And people were wondering why I wasn't crying, and I'm just like, I'm not crying because I didn't know him. I'm here to show my respect and my condolences because I was his only child. I did not speak. I did not cry. I barely knew most of the people there. Honestly, at that point, I was just ready to eat. I was ready to eat. I was ready to go home. I told my mother before that I didn't want to go, but I had watched people share words, buried his body, and went about my business. And as maybe shallow or as, I don't know what word to use, as heartless as you may think it is, that is the con of growing up without someone who you felt like you should have a connection. Not everyone has that amazing bond with their parents, you know, and I'm very grateful for the strong ass foundation that I had with my single mother mom, single mother mom, and how she handled both of those. I do always question how I would have turned out if I had him in my life. Would I have gotten braces and closed my gap? Would I have gotten into the fitness world? Would I have continued my track career? Would I have gone to instruments? Would I have stayed in Oklahoma? Like all the and ifs and buts that would have popped up if I had a connection with my dad. And I'm not saying that I didn't turn out well, because I think I turned out as a pretty amazing woman. From my starting point to my current point, I am gladly satisfied with the woman that I've become. I'm not even the same woman I was 6 months ago, let alone when I was 16 or when I was 4. And that is all due to the women around me. A whole bunch of men were around me because they were ghosted. Like, they were ghosted before ghosted was a word. And that's unfortunate because it was just a thing. Like, everybody grew up without their father. And it's stupid. I didn't understand. It messed me up so much that I'm not lying to you guys. I remember distinctly being at home saying, I want to be a single mom and happiness in my life. And when there was no man around, everything was cool. When there were men around, I felt the tension. Like, kids notice stuff, whether it's a little bit of tension, no tensions, or a lot of tension. The tension is still, it makes us awkward as children because we don't know where that is rooting from, and we don't know how to fix it, and we don't know when it's the right time to say something or do something or ask for something, or, you know, we just do it, you know, and then we get in trouble. Oh, okay, I'll hit you back next time. So it just makes me wonder, like, I wonder how I would have turned out, you know, like, what woman would I be today? Would I be a politician? Or would I be a construction worker? Would I have already been the CEO of my business? It just brings so much to mind just thinking about everything that could have been. But that is a little background on how I grew up. As far as not knowing my father, I do still think about him. I have a heart and a conscience to where everyone that I know, whether I'm connected to him or not, I tend to have my spark of just like rest in peace. I do believe in heaven and hell, whether it's a friend or someone who I knew that worked at ICE, someone who used to be my neighbor. I just have a soft spot for people in passing because I don't know their relationship with God. And it saddens me sometimes because I'm not the judger, but their actions on earth in a way reflect who they are on the inside. And again, if I don't like you, not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm an energy frequency person, and your energy speaks to me before you speak to me. I just step back. You know, I just step back and I just observe you as a person, and I make that personal decision if I want to give you my time or not. You either qualify or you don't. It is what it is. But yes, that is the story of me and my absent father. But on the good note, guys, even though I was fatherless, I had an amazing group, a village of strong, beautiful Black women surrounding me. And this is the product that came out, and I am still a work in progress. And as I grew up, I did have my stepfather now, my father James, who is an amazing, like, he's not even like a substitution. He's like, this is his spot, because there's no substitution. There was never anything there.
Not saying we've always gotten along.
But he is a man that I go to in my life for relationship advice, money advice, if I need car help. Like, he is that person that I go to for. Not that my mom isn't available for it as well, because I can ask her just about the same question, but we always pass it along to James to make him feel like, you know, keep that man spot. Like, to make a man feel like a man. You know, I'm not a daddy's girl. I'm not a mommy's girl. I'm just a girl trying to grow into and blossom into this beautiful woman. I find myself in me, and when me disappoints me, me has a problem. Does that make sense? But I'm just blabbing, guys. I really do appreciate you guys joining me in this little pillow talk. I am very blessed in the position that I am right now. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please go ahead and share this with your friends. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's content. We'll be pushing out videos every other day, and I hope that I see you back in my corner next time. Right? Have a great day. Mwah. I'll see you guys in the next video.